Normally I actually open with those games, but honestly, like, I wanted to sort of close with those games because it'll leave everything kind of on a high. Does that make sense? And I always like to end things on a bit of a high, like just be like da da da, and then everybody's like, oh, what fun. Okay, so what did you guys think? Can I ask you, what did you think about this game? Can anybody give me any perceptions of what you felt about this game? Apples to apples, the red one. The people who played it, was it fun? Yes. Did you need to speak? Yes. Okay, so the reason I like this, the reason that I feel it's really quite useful, is because what it does is it's free expression. Okay? You're freely expressing your ideas, your thoughts. There's a lot of vocabulary, and you can do, like, one thing that's cool about this game is this game is really awesome for even for big groups, because what you do is you just break everybody into small groups of 5 or 10, and you know, here are your cards. Here you go. Here are your cards. Because it's such a big box of cards that it's really easy. I've played this with like 30, 40 people at the same time, and I've just broken it up. You can also use it as an idea for vocabulary. Like maybe you're like, I don't know what vocabulary to teach. Let me think. Machine guns, all right. You can use this, and you can be like, all right, well, I'm going to teach you guys a certain number of vocabulary words. You can also like make some kind of rule. Like you can be like, if you guys study XYZ number of vocabulary words, I'll let you play this game. And if you can tell me what each of these words means to my satisfaction, then you can play. And then they're like, okay. And then they'll go into the box, and they'll be like, all right, I want to learn this one, I want to learn this one, and I want to learn this one. A lot of my students, like, I'll give them the cards, and they'll look at them, and they're like, I don't know what this word means. I'm like, you have a dictionary. Look it up. And they look it up, and they go, oh, I do know what this word means. Great, now I can use it. This game, again, the Once Upon a Time game, again, is another very good expressive game. You use a lot of language in it. You have to express your ideas, and you have to keep the story congruous. It needs to continue to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then you can be like, hey, you just said something that doesn't make any sense with the story. Sorry, you're cut off. This one's quite fun. There's a lot of negotiating, as I said. You're going to be like, give me this, give me that, and you're going to interact with each other. This one is mostly reading and thinking. These two are just awesome. And then this one, again, is like I said, is just asking each other questions and then answering the questions. Okay. Let me quickly look at this. Remember when I was nervous. So can you tell me what some of the benefits of using board games as a study aid might be? I should have told you this throughout the thing, so can anyone tell me? As students, you guys are horrible. What are the benefits? What are the plus sides? What are the advantages of using board games for study and learning? Making studying fun? Interactions, yes. It's interesting, yes?
Well, the student can learn the language unconsciously. But my question is, did you encounter any situation which students are not well equipped with a basic language ability, like a listening problem, speaking problem? Yeah.
Yes, and then what I do is I adapt the games to them. I adapt the game to, so basically, like let's say you've got, because it always happens, you have a mixed class, right? You have 50 students, and 10 of them are quite good, and 30 of them are fine, and 10 of them have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
All right, what I do is I take the 10 who know what's going on, and I match them up with 3 or 4 from the group of people who have a pretty good idea of what's going on, and the 10 that don't have a clue, I take them personally. And those ones, I simplify everything down. I take it down to its basic level. So apples to apples, I put in really, really little words, like book, apple, things like that. And then I help them as they're going, and I sort of guide them along. And they can see the other students, and they can see what the other kids are doing, but they don't feel the pressure of the other students and what they're doing. And then I help them. And like what I'll do is I'll say, like, for example, when she didn't really know what to say with her cards, I'll go over to one student and I'll be like, and I'll whisper in their ear and give them encouragement and give them ideas, but I make them say it out loud themselves.
So you're gonna bring along very kinds of games. So
sorry, what?
You gotta, when you go to the class, you have to, bring along different kind of games.
Well, what I do is I introduce a game, and then we'll play it like off and on periodically for like a month or two, and then I just leave it in the classroom. And I'm like, don't touch it without my permission. And the kids all know that's mine, don't touch it. I'm like, I don't touch your stuff, don't touch mine. But then they'll be like, I'm done all my work. Do you mind if I play a game? And I'm like, go ahead. So yeah, I do have different games that I bring in, but I try not to mix it up too much at one time. Like with a class, I would never do what I just did now. Never. Because they would just be like, oh, sensory overload, and it's too much. I focus on one game, and that would be a game for like maybe even a whole semester. And I would use apples to apples for one whole semester. And then the next semester, I would use say anything or some variation on say anything for the whole semester. And then at the end of the year, I would be like, check this out. We're going to play both of them.
Did you find a time you cannot continue the game during the class, and then you had to give up?
Yeah, and the kids get really mad. They're like, you know how kids are like, the bell's going, and they're like, out of here, right? When you're doing this, it's actually really gratifying, because when you're doing these games, they're like, the bell goes, and they're just like, yeah, but now it's lunchtime, so we have like another half an hour. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, no, get out. And they're like, I just finished the game. So like, yeah, time does run out. That's one thing that's nice about apples to apples and this one and say anything is they're easy to make it short or long. So I mean, it's difficult because you guys, my situation and your situation is very different. I have a lot more freedom in what I do. I teach at a school that uses American curriculum, and I have no time to play games in my class. None. I do have review days, and on the review days, I try my best to fit games in when I can, but it's very rare, and that's why I have a separate class that's all about games. At Shida, on the other side, on the English language side, they have a chat room, and maybe you guys could talk about this with your school, and I think it's a fantastic idea. What they did is they designated one small classroom as a chat room, and they put some English board games in there, and they have some chat room volunteers, and I don't know if the volunteers, they're students at the university. I think they get extra credit or something, like they get something from it. And you can say, okay, one student volunteers to be there in these times on these lunch days, and then the students can go there on their break times and their slow periods, and they can practice their English and play games. This is more of a high school thing, I would suggest. Junior high school, elementary school, possibly. I'm not really sure how that would work with the public school system or private school system, depending on what school you work at. But it's something that I think would actually be really good, because I understand that in your actual curriculum, you guys are not going to have a lot of wiggle room. You're not going to have a lot of extra time, like, oh, what a great idea, these games are so cool, I'm never going to be able to play them. Thanks for telling me that. Something else I can't do. A lot of it you can do. You can just do it for like 10 minutes at the end of the class, And you don't even need to necessarily buy these games. Like, you can make your own. I mean, I don't know how much time you have or how innovative you have, but you can make.